When someone says island vacation, my mind instantly conjures up images of endless white sand, swaying palm trees, and the gentle sound of waves lapping at the shore. I imagine myself lounging under the sun, sipping on a colorful umbrella drink, maybe even some reggae music playing softly in the background. Definitely not a prehistoric lizard giving me the side-eye, as if I've just trespassed on its ancient turf. That was my first clue that this trip would be nothing like the brochures promised. I signed up for the Galápagos thinking it would be the ultimate relaxing escape, a chance to unwind, disconnect, and maybe get a tan. I pictured myself drifting from hammock to hammock, book in hand, with nothing more strenuous than deciding which fresh fruit juice to order next. Instead, I landed in what can only be described as evolution boot camp. Suddenly, I was trading in my flip-flops for hiking boots and my beach towel for a day pack filled with water bottles and granola bars. The brochure had mentioned unique wildlife, but I'd barely glanced at the fine print. I was too busy daydreaming about sunsets and ocean breezes to notice the part about active exploration and close encounters with endemic species. I saw ocean views in bold letters and tuned out the rest, convinced that paradise awaited just beyond the airport. But instead of a swim-up bar, I got a sea lion with more swagger than a tech CEO, sprawling across the only available bench and refusing to budge, as if daring me to challenge its authority. And then there were the birds, blue-footed boobies, standing around with their bright feet, silently judging my every move, as if I was the oddity here. The orientation session? It was less welcome cocktail hour and more a stern lecture. Don't touch, don't feed, don't even breathe too close to the animals. Suddenly, I felt like I was back in school, except the teachers were park rangers, and the rules were enforced by creatures with claws and beaks. The only snacks here were 1,000-pound tortoises who couldn't care less about your existence, munching on grass with the slow confidence of animals that have seen it all before. So, there I was, sunscreen in hand, bracing myself to survive among creatures that haven't changed in millions of years, creatures who seemed to know exactly how out of place I was, and all the while I was trying to avoid a hefty fine for sneezing near a rare finch. Would I adapt? Would I grow a thicker skin, or maybe just learn to blend in with the background like a seasoned naturalist? Or would I simply get really good at pretending to be fascinated by volcanic rocks, nodding along as our guide explained the difference between basalt and tuff? Only time, and a series of increasingly awkward animal encounters, would tell if I was cut out for this wild, wonderful place. Welcome to the Galápagos, where the only thing you're guaranteed to develop is a sense of humility, and maybe, just maybe, a newfound respect for the true meaning of adventure. Ecuador owns the world's wildest science lab, the Galápagos. Forget beach resorts and pool parties. Here, the main attractions are finches, iguanas, and tortoises, not water slides or tequila shots. Getting there feels like a secret mission. Fly to the mainland, then to the edge of the world, just to be ignored by animals who never learned to fear humans. The sea lions have claimed the best beach spots and look at you like, you came all this way for this? Cute. The water's cold, the rules are strict, and the rangers are always watching. You pay a premium to be snubbed by ancient reptiles, VIP access to a concert where the rock stars nap through your visit. You're not the main character here. You're just a guest and the animals seem slightly annoyed you showed up. Welcome to the ultimate ego check. Rule 1 in the Galápagos, the animals run the show. The best bench reserved for a 300-pound sea lion, don't argue. Marine iguanas? Imagine goth lizards sunbathing, sneezing salt water, and looking like grumpy dragons. Sea lions are everywhere, on beaches, docks, even boats, comedians with zero respect for personal space. A pup waddled up, sniffed my shoes, barked, and swam off, probably judging my footwear. Sally Lightfoot crabs, neon red, always on the move like tiny rave-goers breaking up your deep nature moment. Every time you start to feel profound, a ridiculous animal does something to snap you out of it. In the Galápagos, you're just paparazzi for the real celebrities. The animals are the stars. We're just here for the show, and what a bizarre, hilarious show it is. Nothing quite prepares you for your first encounter with a giant tortoise. These living, breathing boulders seem to have wandered straight out of a prehistoric dream, their ancient shells etched with the stories of centuries. When you see one up close, you realize just how extraordinary they are. Creatures that have witnessed the world change in ways we can barely imagine. Some of these tortoises can outlive your grandparents, and maybe even your great-grandparents. My first encounter was unforgettable. A massive tortoise sprawled across the trail, completely unbothered, taking a midday nap as if the world revolved around his schedule. A line of tourists quickly formed, all of us waiting patiently for this ancient roadblock to finish his siesta. There's no rushing a Galapagos tortoise. They eat, chew, and pause with the patience of a Zen master, each slow movement a reminder that time works differently for them. Fast food? Not in this timeline. Watching them munch on leaves, you realize that every bite is deliberate, every pause intentional. It's a kind of mindfulness that's hard to find in our fast-paced world. You're not allowed to touch them, which is probably for the best. After all, what would you even do if you could? High-five a dinosaur? The rules say, keep your distance, at least 6 feet, which leads to some awkward shuffling dances as people try to navigate the narrow trails without disturbing the tortoise's peace. But the tortoises don't care about your awkwardness. They've seen it all. Pirates, explorers, Darwin himself, and now you, just another curious visitor. To them, we're probably the least interesting part of the landscape. Watching them roam free in the highlands, you get a sense of just how ancient and resilient they are. It's surreal to see them in their natural habitat, not behind glass or fences but simply existing as they have for millennia. They carry the weight of evolutionary history on their backs, each step a testament to survival and adaptation. You feel like you've stepped back in time, half expecting a dinosaur to lumber out from behind a bush. Standing next to a creature that's seen centuries pass, you can't help but feel small and fleeting by comparison. Their slow, steady presence is humbling. Suddenly, all your modern worries, emails, deadlines, Wi-Fi problems seem laughable. Maybe the real lesson these tortoises teach is to slow down, to savor the moment, or perhaps to take a really long nap and let the world wait for you just for once. In the Galapagos, the tortoises set the pace. You don't just watch them, you adapt to their rhythm, learning that sometimes the best way to experience life is to simply slow down and try to keep up with the world's oldest traffic jam. The blue-footed booby? Yes, the name is funny, and yes, you'll giggle. But after the joke, you're left with a bird whose feet are so blue they look photoshopped. Mating ritual? The male does a high-stepping dance, showing off his feet like they're designer sneakers. The female? Usually unimpressed. They're spectacular divers, plunging into the ocean with Olympic precision, while I struggle with my snorkel mask. On land, they waddle awkwardly, nesting right on the path, daring you to step closer. They're beautiful, silly, and completely unafraid, a perfect metaphor for the islands. Their feet really are that blue, no filter needed. In the Galapagos, even the birds have a sense of humor. And yes, you'll keep laughing at the name. Visiting the Galapagos is like staying with your strictest aunt, rules everywhere. From the moment you step off the plane, you're greeted not by the wild but by a barrage of regulations. There are signs at every turn, each one a gentle but firm reminder. Don't touch, don't feed, don't stray. It's as if the islands themselves are wrapped in a velvet rope, and you're only allowed a peek behind the curtain. Your guide is part encyclopedia, part rule enforcer, always reminding you, 6 feet from the animals, stay on the path, no snacks, no plastic. Every instruction is delivered with the seriousness of a courtroom verdict. You quickly realize that your guide is less of a tour leader and more of a guardian, entrusted with the sacred duty of keeping both you and the island safe from each other. The animals haven't read the rule book, so when a sea lion pup waddles up, suddenly you're the one breaking the law. It's a test of willpower. Do you back away, or do you freeze, caught between awe and guilt? The wildlife here is so unafraid, so curious that it's easy to forget who's supposed to be keeping their distance. The trails are narrow, the temptations many, but you stick to the path like it's a video game. Step off, and who knows what happens. Every twist and turn is marked, every shortcut forbidden. It's a strange mix of freedom and restriction. You're surrounded by wild beauty, but your journey is carefully choreographed. No food or drinks on the smaller islands. Ration your water like you're crossing a desert. The sun beats down, and you start to understand why the rules exist. Every crumb, every drop could tip the balance in this fragile ecosystem. You become hyper-aware of your own impact, every action weighed and measured. It's nature on rails, a living museum where everything is protected and you're always being watched. Rangers and guides are everywhere, their eyes sharp, their presence constant. You're not just a visitor, you're a guest under surveillance, trusted only as far as the next rule. The rebellious part of you wants to run wild, but you don't. The guide is always watching. Even your curiosity feels regulated, your sense of adventure hemmed in by invisible boundaries. but there's a strange comfort in it too. A sense that you're part of something precious, something worth protecting. The result? A perfectly preserved bubble, and you, the world's most supervised tourist. Every step you take is a reminder that paradise is fragile, and that your presence here is a privilege, not a right. The Galápagos. Paradise, with a side of paperwork. And honestly, it works. The rules, the forms, the watchful eyes. They're the price of admission to a world that still feels untouched. A place where nature, for once, gets to set the terms. In the age of Instagram, the Galápagos is a photographer's nightmare. The animals refuse to pose, the 6-foot rule makes selfies a sport, and the sun turns every shot into a squint fest. I spent ages trying to get a sea lion in the background. He just yawned and rolled away. The landscape is rugged, the hikes are tough, and you're sweating more than you look adventurous. Ecotourism sounds glamorous, but it's mostly sensible shoes and trying not to trip on volcanic rock. Underwater photos? Good luck. The fish are fast, the turtles are faster, and your camera captures mostly blue blurs. You end up with 100 blurry photos and one decent shot of a fishtail. Sometimes the best memories aren't meant for social media. Or maybe I just need a better camera. Forget lush jungles. Much of the Galápagos is black, dramatic, and volcanic. You hike across jagged lava fields, grateful for thick shoes, feeling like you've landed on another planet. The weather is wild blazing sun one minute, cool mist the next. Packing is a nightmare. Each island is its own world. Red sand, black sand, volcanic cones. Nature's theme park, minus the lines. The animals fit perfectly. Iguanas camouflaged on black rocks, sea lions basking on ancient shores. It's a complete ecosystem, millions of years in the making, and you're just a temporary visitor. The landscape makes you feel small, new, and very, very sweaty. Here, nature is the main attraction, and you're just along for the ride. Welcome to the wildest geology class you'll ever take. After a week of being bossed by sea lions and humbled by tortoises, did I evolve? Not exactly. My only adaptation mastering sunscreen application and tolerating lukewarm boat coffee. The real lesson? We're not the center of the universe. Here, life revolves around the sun, the tides, and a bird's ridiculous mating dance. The animals have it figured out. Eat, nap, repeat. No emails, no stress, no existential dread. Maybe the real evolution is mental, a shift in perspective. You arrive as a busy human and leave a little more like a marine iguana, content to just be. Sometimes the best thing is to sit on a rock and let the sun warm you up. The Galápagos doesn't change you in the way you expect. It just shows you a different way to be, and it does it with humor, strange characters, and a lot of volcanic rock. For that, I'm profoundly and sarcastically grateful.